Hey everybody, and welcome to my manga collection video for 2020. A lot has changed since my last manga collection video. My first video was really shaky. I was pretty nervous behind the camera, and so I really wanted to make a new collection video for this new year. And also my collection has just grown a ton as well. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing if you like content like this, manga hauls, manga reviews, or suggestions. That's pretty much what I'm going to be doing consistently for the rest of 2020. So if you like this type of stuff, please consider subscribing to stay tuned for more. With that, let's go ahead and get started in the video. Starting off the collection, we have JoJo's Part 1, 2, 3, and all of 4 that is up to date. So I read Part 1 about 6 months ago and I thought it was just alright. Did not plan to pick up the rest of the series, and after talking to some people on Twitter, they convinced me to pick up Part 2, and I'm currently 3 volumes in, and after I started the first 2 volumes, I realized that, it does get way better. So I ended up picking up everything that was out, and that's my first plan to read for this year, is to finish Part 2 and then start Part 3 and eventually catch up to Part 4. Moving down, we have Golden Kamuy, Volumes 1 to 13, and that is currently up to date. Golden Kamuy is a seinen published by Viz Media, and it's in the same time period as The Revenant. So, and the concept of the story is about a guy and a girl who are trying to find a bunch of ex-convicts who have their tattoos connected together as this map to this really valuable treasure. So that's kind of the premise. It's got a little bit of everything: some cooking, some action, some mystery, and a lot of comedy. And it's a series that I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I am. And so I would definitely recommend picking up Golden Kamuy. Next up, we have Parasite Complete Volumes 1 through 8. It's one of the first anime I ever finished in completion, Parasite the Maximum. And there's a few creative differences between the manga and the anime that I really appreciate, and definitely recommend picking up the manga if you're into seinen, into some slight horror aspects. Here's just a brief look at some of the art in the series. But yeah, definitely recommend Parasite, one of my favorites. Next up, we have Beastars Volume 1 to 3, and that is current, up to date. For those of you who have been following the channel, know that Beastars is my favorite new series of 2019. Absolutely love it. Yes, it's similar to Zootopia in the fact that it's animals like humans, but the society, the story, the characters, and the dialogue are just so fantastic in this series. Cannot recommend this enough. Absolutely love Beastars. Next, we have Witch Hat Atelier, Volumes 1 through 4. Really fun and adorable new series from Kodansha about a little witch named Coco and her journey into learning magic. Very cute, really fun world, and fantastic art. Some of my favorite in manga. Next, we have No Guns Life, Volume 1 and 2. This is up to date, or I believe Volume 3 just came out and is coming in. A cyberpunky noir vibe about a detective who finds a boy that is essentially being hunted. Really fun. Do recommend this series as well. It's another really good ongoing new series that is getting a decent amount of buzz. Next, we have Gleipnir Volumes 1 to 4, and I think I'm 2 volumes behind on this. It's a fun series. Definitely not anything to rave about. I know a lot of people love it, a lot of people don't like it. For what it is, I enjoy it, and I think there's some fun to be had. There's nothing too deep about it, but cool art, kind of annoying main character, but the action's cool as well. For the next shelf, we have kind of my Urasawa collection, and that is 20th Century Boys, Volume 1 to 4, and I think I'm 1 volume behind there. And then Monster, the Perfect Editions, 1 through 4. I absolutely love this one. I need to get the rest of it. I've read up to these 4 volumes, and I don't know why I haven't collected the rest of them, because it kind of ends on where I ended is definitely like a cliffhanger, but really great psychological thriller, great suspense, and just a really fun story with a great main character. 20th Century Boys I haven't even touched, or I think I've read the first half of Volume 1. I'm kind of waiting for that one to just build up so I can binge it. But yeah. Next, we have Yoshiki Volumes 1 to 6. Kind of a random numbering. I found these on like a fantastic deal on Reddit, and I've read the first 4 volumes, and I actually have the rest of the series coming in the mail pretty soon. So really excited to finish that. From what I've read, it's fantastic, very similar to Gantz, and the fact that it's fast-paced, really cool action, and kind of very, very dark themes. For people who are interested in reading Gantz but are kind of overwhelmed by the size, I would definitely recommend picking up Inuyashiki. Here's some of the art in it. Kind of heavy themes, but really fast-paced and really action-packed. Love what I've read so far in this, and excited to read the rest of it. Next, we have some new volumes that I actually just got in from my friend Chris, or Mr. Sushi on YouTube. He gave me Miss Koizumi Loves Ramen Noodles. I actually know nothing about this series, but it seems right up my alley. Looks really cute. With anything around ramen, I think I'm gonna love. It's really thin, really small, but I'm excited to read it. And he also gave me H.P. Lovecraft Volume 2, which means I definitely gonna have to pick up Volume 1. But just from flipping through this, the art just looks amazing, like something next level, and it's a really high quality book. So thank you again, Chris, for these. He got me some other stuff that I'll show in a bit. Next up, we have one of my favorite things in my collection, and that is the Akira box set, printed by Kodansha. And just to open this up, such a beautiful release by Kodansha. I have not finished this yet. I'm 3 volumes in, and I am loving it. Akira the movie is one of my favorites, and I just started reading this, so that's why I haven't finished it yet, but can't wait to finish it. Love the characters, love my boy Kaneda and Tetsuo, and these are just such nice releases that I cannot recommend it enough that you guys, if you can get your hands on it, to pick it up. Just such a beautiful release by Kodansha. Here is my PC setup right next to my collection. This is something that I received from Right Stuff as a blind box. Arcana Famiglia. I haven't heard of it. But let me know if you guys have read it or if you like it or not. I have no idea what it's about. Moving along to my next shelf, at the top we have a couple more of my box sets. We have the Dragon Ball Z Complete Box Set, one of my favorite shonen, big Dragon Ball Z fan. And the re-release of the box set, my spines are super unaligned, which is kind of frustrating, but I still love it regardless. Next I have Dragon Ball Super 1 through 4, and also the Yamcha side story. I haven't even touched this, but I hear Super is pretty good, so I need to read these and give my opinion. Next I have Tokyo Ghoul the Box Set, which I enjoy Tokyo Ghoul a lot. I have some issues with the manga. Sometimes it's hard to follow the action and some things that are going on in the story, but it's a really quick read, and I definitely recommend it for the price of the box set. And Volume 1 of Re, but I haven't even touched it yet. I've heard mixed things about Tokyo Ghoul Re. Next we have Attack on Titan Volumes 1 through 29, and that is up to date. For those of you who are not reading Attack on Titan currently, you are absolutely missing out. It is a top 3 manga in my collection. I think it's fantastic. The way that this plot has progressed and more layers have been peeled off, and you just see how big of a plot it is, and you kind of get to see how it's very clear that this story was contemplated on and thought about before it was even started, because it's just so crazy to see how deep of a story it actually is. Next we have Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1. This is a new ongoing shonen by Viz Media. I think there's a lot of potential with this series. It was really a great jumping off point for a first volume in a new series. Really like the art, and I think there's a lot of potential with it. Gonna definitely be picking this up and hoping for the best as it continues to come out. Next we have Mob Psycho Volumes 1 to 3, and this is up to date as well. I think Volume 4 is about to come out. This, I don't know what it is with One and his writing style and dialogue, but he is one of the funniest mangakas to me, and his manga just makes me laugh so hard. Same with One Punch Man. But I absolutely love Mob Psycho 100. It's such a breath of fresh air. The art is so different than most manga. It's so goofy, but I love it, and I highly recommend it. If you're okay with having art be a little bit out there, it's such a good series. I definitely recommend it. So this is where you guys get to start to see how quickly I'm running out of space, and me and my wife are about to move in the next couple of months, so there I'll get to buy a new shelf and not be as cluttered as I am. But next we have Black Torch Complete Volumes 1 through 5. I've only read Volume 1. one of these days I'm gonna just binge the whole series and finish it. But I hear it's really good, and a lot of people that finished it were sad that it ended so soon because it had a lot of potential. But from Volume 1, I really liked it. Some Bleach vibes. Next we have Fire Force Volumes 1 through 17. This is complete and up to date. Fire Force is one of my favorite ongoing shonen right now. Really enjoy it. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with this series. Have not read Soul Eater yet, but I'm really excited for those Perfect editions that are coming out later this year, I think in March. Highly recommend Fire Force if you're into shonen, you like a bit of comedy, like some action. Shinra is a fun main character. The action is, I think, where this manga really shines. It's really intense and very cinematic in some of the fight scenes. So definitely recommend Fire Force if you're into shonen. Next we have Seven Deadly Sins, volumes 1 through 10. I was able to find these volumes for super cheap, like $30, and they are all in really good condition. And I definitely plan on picking up more. It's just kind of a heavy investment. There's a lot of Seven Deadly Sins out right now. But I love the series. I've had a lot of fun with what I've read so far. It's pretty gripping, pretty standard shonen stuff. But it's a fun series. Fun series with some decent comedy, some fun action, and I think the big pull for this is the unique world. It's the time that it's set in, and it's very fantasy, which is a fun world. But yeah. Enjoy Seven Deadly Sins. Next we have One Piece, the 3-in-1s all the way up to volume 39. I have finished Barkworks. That's where I'm at. I'm just starting with Skype. I don't know how you pronounce that, but One Piece is fantastic. It's truly an amazing shonen. Also, for how many volumes there are, that's not really a hot take to say it's so great, but the point I'm at right now is I'm kind of wondering if it's just going to be the same old, similar villain. It's the team faces some adversity and then eventually beats that villain. And that's kind of my hesitation with collecting more. From what I've read, I really enjoyed it, but I'm just wondering if it innovates at all. So for those of you who are currently up to date on One Piece, let me know on if I should continue to pick it up or if if I'm good with what I've read so far. Next we have Radiant, volumes 1 to 7. I think I'm one volume behind. But Radiant is a fun shonen that's kind of going under the radar. It's by Tony Valente, who I believe is a French mangaka, if I remember that correctly. But what I really like about this series is the art style, and the world is really creative as well. Kind of similar vibes to most shonen. Funny, goofy main character and fun action. But I think if you are in the mood for a shonen with kind of a different art style and good action, then I think Radiant is a good pickup if you're in the market for a new shonen series. Next we have Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, volumes 1 to 10. Kind of weirdly organized, but these are currently up to date. Danmachi was my first manga I actually picked up. Or I guess besides Death Note, the box set, but really love this series. I really love the quality of these volumes. They're very, very soft. Those of you who like dungeon crawlers, I would definitely recommend this series. The main character, he's just a really lovable guy and kind of in similar, harem fashion. Every girl is kind of throwing themselves at him, but not to an extent that it's annoying. Love this series, and I've been wanting to pick up the side stories. I've heard from some people that they're worth checking out, so would recommend picking up Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon if you're into dungeon crawlers and shonen. So coming back to this shelf, we have My Hero Academia volumes 1 to 22, and this is up to date. Fantastic battle shonen. Everybody knows about My Hero. There's not really much else to say about it, but as something gets popular, more and more people feel the need to critique it, and I would just say try to ignore the negative critiques about My Hero. I think it's really great, fun superhero school. If you're into superheroes, I would definitely recommend My Hero. It's got one of my favorite fights in shonen with volume 9, Midoriya versus Muscular. But yeah, definitely recommend My Hero, guys. It's great. Next we have The Promised Neverland, volumes 1 to 12, and this is up to date. Really good psychological thriller. It's technically a shonen, but it is so different than any shonen. I've only read up to volume 6, so I have a lot of ways to go, but kind of took a breather after I read that. But really love the characters, love the concept. The suspense and thrill is something pretty unique to shonen. I think The Promised Neverland is definitely worth having in your collection. Dropping down, we have One Punch Man volumes 1 to 18. Without a doubt, one of my favorite shonens, easily in my top 3 when it comes to battle shonen. The art in One Punch Man is my absolute favorite in manga. I want to pick up Ice Shield 21 solely because of Murata's art. I think he is such a good artist. I love his character design. I love the detail he puts into his manga. And One Punch Man is just prime shonen. It's just right up my alley of what I enjoy. Really awesome art, really great fights, and really great comedy. The comedy in One Punch Man is so underrated. It makes me laugh every volume, and I absolutely love this series. Metal Bat's probably my favorite character. I think he's really badass. So I grabbed that volume. Next we have Dr. Stone 1 through 7. I think I'm 1 volume behind, but Dr. Stone is a great series. It's kind of getting a bad rep right now, and I know it's not selling that well, but I still really enjoy it. It's a fun, unique concept. It's fun with all the science, and it's a creative premise too. It's about a guy. It's about what would happen if the world, every human in the world was turned to stone, and a few people were brought back, and 2 people kind of have different ideologies of how human society should be brought back into living. And it's just a fun creative series, and I definitely recommend it. This is where I really had to start getting creative as far as how I'm storing my manga. Starting over here, we have Eden Zero volumes 1 to 5, and this is up to date as well. Like people have said, fairy tale in space. There's no awards that this manga is going to win, but I think it's really fun. I love the world, just in space. I don't think I have any space manga, so it's kind of a unique environment. The main character, pretty likable guy and just cool action. I think if you like shonen, I think there's stuff you'll enjoy, or I think you'll have some fun with this series. Next we have the Quintessential Quintuplets, and this was recommended to me by my boy Base Senpai, and I am absolutely loving this series. Really great humor, really lovable characters, and then a sweet story, and I love the art as well. Just to highlight some panels, here's what some of the art looks like, but just a really sweet story. Like Base said, it is way better than it has any right to be. When you just say the plot, it's about this guy who is a tutor for these quintuplets, these sisters, and really kind of seems like a simple premise, but is just so funny and so endearing and really sweet and adorable. Definitely recommend picking up this series, guys. Next we have Komi Can't Communicate volumes 1 through 4. This is up to date, and this is another one of my favorite new series from last year. Really funny, really great humor. Komi, just the best, and definitely recommend this. It's a 4-coma, so kind of like a new scenario each chapter. Not too much of an ongoing story, except for the overarching plot of Komi trying to make 100 friends. But another cute and adorable series, similar to Quintessential Quintuplets. And then lastly, on top of here, we have Spirit Circle volumes 1 to 4, and I'm missing 2 volumes of this series, but another shonen made by the same mangaka who made Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. This didn't really catch my attention. I liked what I read, but stopped after volume 3. And I just need to go up and pick the next 2 volumes and finish it to have my final opinion. But some people say this is one of their favorite shonen, and I'm kind of missing out on what is so great about it. But just to highlight some art, the covers are really cool. And kind of simple art, but people really love it. So I need to finish it and do it justice. It's a short series, so it's not that big of an investment. But Spirit Circle. Next we have Yona of the Dawn volumes 1 to 15, and this is not up to date, but it's a decent chunk of it. I actually just recently received this about a couple weeks ago, and it's my first shoujo ever. But I absolutely love it. The story is really gripping. A really great plot about a princess who witnesses her father being murdered, and essentially is on a mission to avenge her father and bring back peace to her kingdom. Really well written, really well written plot, fun characters. The art in my opinion is some of the best in manga. Really love some of the character design and some of the emotion and expressions on these characters. and I'm really glad I decided to pick this up. Despite me thinking that I wouldn't enjoy a shoujo, I am adoring this series. Going up, we have a couple Scraggler volumes. We have Star Wars Lost Stars. I have not read this, but I'm a big Star Wars fan. And we also have Drops of a God. This is a wine drinking manga, and I think there's only like 4 volumes out, and the rest of the series was never published or printed. But found this for a really cheap deal, so I decided to just pick it up, and I've heard really good things about it. So, hoping to grab the rest of this that is in print, and then just read the rest of the scans. Next we have Demon Slayer volumes 1 to 10, and this is up to date as well, or Kimetsu no Yaiba, whatever is your fancy. But really fun ongoing shonen. Love the characters in this series. That's where it really stands out. Love Tanjiro, love Zenitsu, and some of the other characters as well. Good action, and I personally like the art as well. I know some people don't like it. Also, there's pretty high emotions for these side characters as well. I was, especially in this volume, I was really emotionally moved. But hopefully I don't spoil anything. But here's some of the art. Also a good comedy too. Zenitsu, this character makes me laugh so much. Really funny. Then we have Siren Volume One. I have not read this yet, but I have a subscriber who sings its praise, and so I picked this volume up, and I'm gonna check it out and see if I'm gonna pick up more or not. Next we have Hina Matsuri, and I just got this in a couple days ago from Chris as well, the guy I mentioned earlier, and really excited to read this. I've been wanting to read it, and he was just kind enough to send me a couple of volumes to kind of kickstart my collection of it. But I'm excited to read this. Really don't know what it's about, but I've heard great things. I'm getting real low for you guys. Over here we have Granblue Dreaming volumes 1 to 9. That is up to date. Again, similar to Quintessential Quintuplets, this series is way better than it has any right to be. It's very intense, very dramatic for these not so intense moments, and really great comedy as well. This series is one of my favorites in my collection just because of how much it makes me laugh. And definitely recommend this. Don't let the over the topness put you off. I think there's a lot of fun to be had in Granblue. Next we have To Your Eternity volumes 1 to 4, and I'm way behind on this series, but this mangaka, don't know her name off the top of my head, but she made a Silent Voice, which is one of my absolute favorite series. So I, of course, had to pick up her other series, and very emotional, similar to a Silent Voice. Really great art. This first volume really moved me, and absolutely plan on picking up the rest of the series. Just kind of not one of my top priorities right now. Next we have Kaiju, which is this is a new published manga by Denpa, I believe, or Denpa, and it's a gambling poker manga that is pretty beloved in Japan and just recently getting published here. But excited to dive into this. I haven't touched it yet. Next we have So What? I'm a Spider. So What? So I'm a Spider. So What? Really, really great title, but a light novel. Haven't checked it out yet, but excited to read it. Next we have Wodakai, Love is Hard for an Otaku, volumes 1 to 3. This is up to date. This is a top 5 series I have in my collection. Absolutely love this series. Really great comedy. I love the art style. It dips a lot into some gaming, which I really enjoy. The art switches up as well too. And it's just really relatable for me. I think that's a big thing that I like in my manga is either, something just like a category I personally love, or it's relatable. And as someone who's kind of an introvert, I can really relate to the main character and loving nerdy things. Just a really great series with really a cute romance and great comedy. But if you don't have this in your collection, guys, you are totally missing out. Such an amazing series. And here's some more Scragglers. We have Shiver. These I'll kind of blitz these because I haven't read most of these. Shiver, haven't read. Toyo Game. This is like a thriller horror. Heard good things about it, but I haven't touched it yet. Death Note. I finished Death Note. Mixed feelings about it. Love the first 8 volumes, but do not like how it ends. And I sold the box set and just trying to pick up these black editions whenever I see them on sale. Dissolving Classroom, haven't read. These two haven't read. High Rise Invasion, I really enjoy. A nice, fun, kind of simplistic thriller with a cool concept. And I'm not up to date on this. I think I'm 2 volumes behind, but really enjoy what I've read so far, and I definitely plan on picking up more. Next we have The God's Lie, which is a one-shot and an amazing volume for what you're paying and what you get in the full story. This is one that I would definitely recommend. Really emotionally moving. I felt really impacted once I finished it, and just a cute little romance story about adolescence, growing up, and just kind of some really heartbreaking things that happened to some of these kids. But really love this volume. It's just a one shot, so not a big investment, and a great story. Here is my My Hero Academia poster that my wife got for me for Christmas, and we're coming up on my last shelf. Ooh, so starting up, we have a couple volumes, or a couple omnibus of comic books that I have. The Amazing Spider-Man and Iron Man, and another Amazing Spider-Man volume. I love Marvel movies, and bought these kind of during the hype of Avengers and enjoyed them, but I'm definitely a manga guy. And Spider-Man is my absolute favorite superhero, so that's why you kind of see that bias. Next we have Vinland Saga Volumes 1 to 11. This is up to date, and this is without a doubt my favorite series in my collection. I love Vinland Saga. I will always, scream its praises. So many amazing things about this series. Amazing art, such an amazing character progression and character development, and amazing action. Such a great plot too. I just read the first volume, and I guarantee you will find something to love about this series. Here's some of the art, and there's Thorfinn, aka the best character of all time. But definitely recommend the series, guys. Please check it out. Next we have Levius, the complete omnibus of this series. I have not gotten a chance to read this, but haven't got a chance to finish it. I've read about a fourth of it, but I love the art from what I've read so far. It's like a cool, cyberpunky vibe about a boxer, and I'm excited to finish this and see what the rest entails. Next we have the Silent Voice box set, and again, talked about it earlier, but this is another one of my favorite series that I have in my collection. And A Silent Voice, the movie, is actually my favorite movie of all time. Really just connected with me, really impacted me. Just felt so emotionally attached to some of these characters, and just so moved by the redemption story, and how we got to see Shoya grow and come to terms with some of his mistakes in his past. Beautiful redemption story. Beautiful character development, and just an amazing series. Next we have the Full Metal Alchemist Full Metal Edition volumes. This is 1 to 7, and this is up to date, I believe. Really love these releases. Love the spines and the covers. Full Metal Alchemist is a fantastic shonen. I have not finished it yet. I think I've read the first 6 volumes of these, and from what I've read, I absolutely love it. And I wish these would come out at a quicker pace, but I get that Viz kind of has to pace them out and make sure and spread out the releases. But absolutely recommend these releases. They look fantastic on your shelves, and it's just a fantastic series as well. Mobile Suit Gundam Origins Volume 1. Found this is a really good deal. Have not read it yet, but I know people love this series, and the books look amazing on your shelves. So hopefully I'll enjoy it and end up picking the rest. Next we have Overlord, the light novels, volume 1 to 10. I'm missing 8 through 9, or 8 and 9. This is not a light novel. This is a straight up novel. It is, like 4 pieces of art in it, and the rest is just story. I've read the first half of the first volume and really enjoy it. I just don't know if I have the time to read all these light novels, so I'm kind of contemplating if I should sell these and get the manga. But from what I've read, I really enjoy it, and I can see why this is such a beloved series by so many people. Next we have Planet Test Volume 1 by Yuki Mura, the mangaka Vinland Saga. Have not started this. I'm not going to start it until I find Volume 2, which is kind of a tough one to find. But, love Yuki Mura, one of my favorite mangas. Next we have Blade of the Immortal, the Omnibus 1 through 6. And this would be complete if I could find freaking Volume 7, but it is impossible to find. Dark Horse, please step up your game for these printings, because especially with the anime coming out, like the anime just came out, this should not be out of print, and yet it's really hard to find some of these volumes. But I've read the first 5, absolutely love it, love the action, really great seinen with great characters, and art that I have not, or an art style that I've not seen
or that is really unique art style that you don't see a lot of similarities in other mangaka or in other mangas. But great series, and I just wish I could freaking finish it, but Dark Horse doing Dark Horse stuff. Next we have Levius EST. Haven't read it. Way of the House Husband Volume 1. Absolutely love this volume. It made me laugh so hard. Really great series, and the second volume is actually on its way to my house. So excited to finish that. Really funny. About an ex-Yakuza member who is now a house husband, and just has like really over the top, and similar to Granblue Dreaming, like really intense situations that aren't actually that intense. Next we have Devilman, the Classic Collection, Volume 1. Found a great deal on this, but haven't touched it yet. I'm going to wait until I find the second volume to get into it. Here's my my Samus 3DS edition. Love the 3DS, one of my favorite consoles. Next we have Hunter x Hunter Volume 1 to 32. This is not up to date, but this is where the anime finishes off. Another one of my top 3 series in my collection. Probably number 2 behind Vinland Saga, but I absolutely love Hunter x Hunter. If the series ended right now and we never got another volume of it, I would still think it is a masterpiece and one of the best mangas out there. So to all of those people who are saying, oh, it's been on hiatus for so long. Yes, and that is due to Togashi's health issues, but from what we have right now, it is still a masterpiece, and everybody should have it in their collection. It is fantastic. Some of the best characters in any manga, some of the best side characters, and just really great plot and great character development. Also, Greed Island is a great arc. I don't care what you say. Next we have Black Clover, Volumes 1 to 18, and I believe this is up to date. Black Clover is my favorite ongoing shonen. It is really great, even from when like it first started coming out and people were kind of crapping on it. I always really enjoyed it. I thought it was just higher quality than most ongoing shonen. I like this more than My Hero. I think it is really funny. I love the world. I love the characters, and just the whole magic system, the fighting, and the art design are just right up my alley. Absolutely love Black Clover. If you've been hearing bad things about it, give it a chance, read it for yourself, and decide for yourself if you think it's bad or not. Because I disagree. I think it's amazing. Next we have one of my prized possessions in Gantz, Volumes 1 to 37. That is complete in the singles. Gantz is another one of my favorite series in my collection. High intensity. I was able to read this entire series in, what was it? Like 4 days. Just burned through it. Great intensity, really fun series. It's very explicit, so be warned if you plan on picking it up. But some of the best I would say the best action in any manga that I have. Fantastic action. The character development of the main character, Kurino, is some of my absolute favorite. I feel like a lot of people can relate to him. He's kind of a selfish piece of crap at the beginning, where most people can relate, and through Gantz and all these horrible things that are happening to him, he really starts to value other people and care for other people outside of himself. But I love Gantz so much. The art is so cool. My only gripe with it is I feel like the ending was rushed, and I wish they had 3 more volumes just to kind of build up the intensity of the end and kind of slow down. But other than that, Gantz is such a great series. I highly recommend it. And then the last shelf, guys, the last shelf of my collection. Berserk Volumes 1 to 31. I'm 9 volumes behind on Berserk. I am currently at like 22, right towards the end of the Conviction arc. The Golden Age arc is one of my favorite pieces of entertainment that I've ever digested. I think it is so great. The Lost Children arc with the elves, I thought that was really great too. The Conviction arc is kind of where I'm getting lost, as far as like my love for Berserk. Not really loving the Conviction arc that much. I'm enjoying it, but it's just really heavy and a lot to digest. But the first 16 volumes of Berserk are an absolute masterpiece, and anybody who disagrees with that is I question your opinion, but I still respect that opinion, but I question it. Next we have Captain Harlech, Volumes 1. There's 2 that I'm missing, haven't even touched it, but I just kind of like the art, so I picked it up. Next we have Cats of the Louvre, a very interesting series that I just picked up. Haven't got a chance to read it, but it looks very intriguing. And the final piece of manga that we have in my collection is No Longer Human. Oops. Is No Longer Human by Junji Ito. And this series wrecked me. Such a dark and twisted series on the human psyche and how, all Junji's series are typically about, horror and monsters, or like horror and demons. But in No Longer Human, he really explores the idea and how human beings can be true monsters. And you really get to dive into that with No Longer Human. Totally wrecked me. Loved it. I don't think I would read it again because of how dark it was, but it's such a beautiful release by Viz. And the fact that No Longer Human is autobiographical by Osamu Dazai, or Dazai, I don't know how you pronounce that. But the fact that this series is semi-autobiographical is heart-wrenching because the stuff that happens are just truly tragic. But the art in this is fantastic, and I definitely recommend, if you're kind of into horror or psychological series, I definitely recommend checking this one out. It's really great. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for my manga collection of 2020. As you can tell, my collection has grown a lot since my first video, and also I just didn't love the quality of my first video that I made. So I'm kind of glad I got to redo it. But thank you guys so much for supporting me over these past, 8 months that I've been on YouTube. I really appreciate all the love, guys. And, I can't wait for what 2020 is going to have in store for my channel. So with that, I'm going to conclude this video, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Peace.
The artwork is incredible. See, I'm running out of room on my bookshelf, so we're really crammed in there. My Hero, one of the top mangas of the century. Not even kidding. Why do you think I have this poster about it? So just look at this artwork. Is it focusing? Let me just pull to a spoiler alert. Just look at this. Splash, whoosh, squirt, gloop. That's just in one page of panels.
How are you feeling about the most recent arc?
It could use some improvement, I think.
Okay.
Who's
your favorite character?
Todoroki.
Close enough.
What's his name? Todoroki?
Todoroki.
I tried.
You did try. That was good.
I can tell you Sam's favorite part. The boobs.